Welcome to Healing the Spirit, a space where we awaken our creativity, deepen our connections, and remember who we are through the lens of astrology, archetypes, and art making. I'm your host, Jonathan Coe. Hello everyone, welcome to Healing the Spirit, my favorite place to be. Thank you for being here, and this episode is for the week of July 6th. I mean, really, it can be for any time you find this episode. If the title resonates with you, then there's very likely going to be something here for you, but I'm really creating this episode with the intention of guiding, facilitating, and inspiring you on your creative and spiritual journey for the week of July 6th, 2026 until July 12th. So I've pulled a few cards. I pulled one tarot card and I pulled 3 cards from the Book of Love by the incredible Arizona Smith, which I really love this deck. I really, really love this deck. And it's an oracle deck. It's for healing, specifically. The tagline here is, this is an oracle deck for emotional healing. And it's really given me such beautiful readings that are very grounding and useful for me. So yeah, let me see if there's anything I want to say beforehand. My course, Creative Exorcism, is beginning today. Today is when we will be releasing the first module. It is an independent study course, so you don't have to show up live for anything. You're going to get daily prompts, audio and written, to really assist you in looking at your relationship with creativity, and then to shift into actually engaging in a creative practice. So if that sounds incredible, if that sounds exciting, for those of you who have been wanting to start a creative practice for some time, or maybe you do have a creative practice, but you struggle with feeling like you get to occupy the identity of an artist, and that's feeling not aligned for you, and you want to kind of look at that, you want to heal that pattern. If you are someone who has had a lot of creative trauma, as I have, being a lifelong creative and artist who, just wants to feel a little bit more at ease with their own process, then this course is for you. And I encourage you to check it out. It really begins today in terms of if you want to do it linearly with the rest of us. But like I said, it's an independent study program, so you can start it anytime you want, really. Okay, so let's get to the guidance for the coming week. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to channel. I'm going to connect to the guides of this podcast and share the messages that are coming through in real time, inspired by the cards that I've pulled. The theme here is not forcing before the time is right. Not forcing if something is not yet meant to materialize. There's magic in watching the process. So much of life is about watching the process. This week, you are watching your own process with more curiosity and more fascination than you ever have before. It will feel like there's a hand guiding you through this process of alchemy. The tarot card that I pulled was the Temperance card. There are angelic forces that are helping you along your path this week. The road ahead is unclear. You're not sure how to move forward. You feel like you've been here before, and it makes you wonder if you're stuck. It makes you wonder if you are moving in circles. In some ways, you are, because life is a spiral. And there's nothing wrong with being in the spiral. There's nothing wrong with circling through the exact same point over and over again from different vantage points. The truth is that you are a different person. Each time you return to the same point, you are a different version of yourself. And so the question isn't, am I moving forward? Because you live inside the river of time. So of course you are moving forward because you don't really have a choice. Time itself is an illusion, but you live in a body that is bound by the rule of time. And so you feel the effect of time. You feel yourself growing, expanding, moving. And sometimes you find yourself at a point that feels less easeful, at a point where more fear is coming up. This is not a problem, specifically because there's something that wants to shift. There's something that wants to transmute and alchemize in this moment. And you're being guided to watch the process. What's uncomfortable about the process that you're currently in is that you're not fully in control. That you are aware there's a greater force at play here. And surrender hasn't always come easy because you weren't taught that surrendering is a valid way to be. When in reality, you really have no choice. Who you are is in and of itself a limitation. You can only see what you can see at any given moment. And so surrendering to a larger force that's moving through you, a deeper intelligence that's always present and inherent in you, is the only way to be. Of course, you can fight. You can decide that you don't want this. All of that is welcome. All of that, in some ways, is part of your learning. But give yourself permission to connect with a larger force that is benevolent, that is kind, that is truly on your side. And this larger force could even be a version of you that is eternal. Your soul, your spirit. This is a version of you that is wise and that is unafraid of the next stage in your evolution. You're not quite at a point where you see the results just yet. Have faith. Remember that you're not alone. Remember that you're supported. Humor is going to be your best friend this week. Remember that there's not just one perspective. There's always multiple perspectives. There's always multiple voices. And even if something looks like a disaster right now, you're being propelled to learn something new. You're being propelled to discover new aspects of yourself. We wear many masks in this life. And those masks are not necessarily bad. The masks are helpful. They help us get through situations. They help us discover new things about our environment. They help us understand the world a little bit more clearly. Your job isn't to get fixed on any one of the masks. There's nothing wrong with having masks. However, you get into issues when you start identifying with the masks. So don't take it too seriously. Give yourself permission to laugh, give yourself permission to entertain yourself. So much of what is moving through you in your life and your journey at this moment is completely new territory. You have been here before, but it's actually completely new territory. There's also a part of you that is coming through that is the rebel here. The rebel stands for something. The rebel is not here to follow the rules. And that's okay. The rebel gets to be here. But you also might want to pay attention. Why is the rebel trying to break away from the path that you're currently on? Is it because the path itself is not aligned? Or is it because the rebel is somewhat feeling uncomfortable? The rebel questions everything. The rebel recognizes there's no one truth. In a way, the rebel and the comic are somewhat similar. They both carry the divine fool within them. They see each situation as new. You might find yourself confused between, should I be a little bit more yielding? Should I be a little lighter in my approach? Or should I stand up? And this is where the third archetype comes in, which is the creator. So we have the rebel, the comic, and the creator. And these are all archetypes from Arizona Smith's Book of Love. And the creator is really here to be the bridge between the comic and the rebel. The rebel is quick to say, I disagree. I don't want to go there. This will not work for me. And the comic is busy playing. The comic is busy not even worrying. Now, the creator sits right in the middle. The creator, in some ways, is very similar to temperance, right? The temperance card, she is also a creator. Nothing is created out of nothing. Everything was created out of something. Something else existed that allowed the creation of another thing. The discomfort you're experiencing in this moment in your journey has creative potential. Is there an artistic modality that you've been wanting to take up? Do you have dreams to create a piece of writing? Do you have visions for the kind of business that your community is going to benefit from? The work this week is to follow that impulse. That impulse might not take you somewhere very far. It might even seem a little trivial. There may be a part of you that wants to see something grander. You want to take a bigger leap. This is great. We want to honor that part. We want to honor the idealism of the rebel. The rebel has all these ideals. She doesn't want to follow the rules. And that's great. But is there space for the creator to just take the next step? The creator is mostly in flow. So is temperance, by the way. If the creator is you on this plane, the temperance card is you on, let's say, the higher plane. The temperance card is you, your higher self, your deeper self, your wiser self. And the creator is the version of you that's just walking through life. You have these resources, so why not tap into them? Use them to create something that is meaningful to you. This is reminding me of a poem by Mary Oliver, and I'm going to read it for all of us here. This poem is called Wild Geese. You do not have to be good. You do not have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let the soft animal of your body love what it loves. Tell me about despair, yours, and I will tell you mine. Meanwhile, the world goes on. Meanwhile, the sun and the clear pebbles of the rain are moving across the landscapes, over the prairies and the deep trees, the mountains and the rivers. Meanwhile, the wild geese, high in the clean blue air, are heading home again. Whoever you are, no matter how lonely, the world offers itself to your imagination, calls to you like the wild geese, harsh and exciting, over and over announcing your place in the family of things. The right order of things have always been there. You don't have to find the right order of things. It could be fun for you if you feel like things are somewhat misaligned at this moment. But the right order of things is where everything came from and where everything is going to return to. So, spending a lot of time and energy trying to forcefully, if it's not in alignment with you, if it's not something you actually want to do, trying to force everything to return to its right order, in a way, is a kind of violence. Your job here is to simply watch everything rearrange back into the right order. And sometimes the process of watching is not passive, right? Sometimes the process of watching actually involves you doing a little intervention. But that intervention is not random. It's not something that comes from the mind. It's not you trying to create an intervention, but rather you being so engaged in the process that is right in front of you, that is unfolding, and yet also at the same time having enough spaciousness from it to know when it's the right time for you to jump in. This reminds me of jazz music. When you see jazz musicians performing on stage, they have practiced together. They know each other's styles. And they really deeply listen to each other. Even in the most improvisatory performance, they're deeply listening to one another. And in the process of deeply listening, they know exactly when to come in and to interrupt. And the pattern, the beautiful music, comes through as a result of being so present with the pattern. Your work this week, and perhaps all the time, is to ask yourself, am I empty enough so I can actually observe the patterns that are unfolding in front of me as well as inside of me? Or do I have an agenda? And if I have an agenda, what is driving that agenda? What is driving my fear of things for a while not really looking like they're going where I want them to go? You are in a really sacred process in this moment. And it's so important that you remember this. It's so important that you don't go in and try to forcibly shift the process. Rather, take a deep breath. Let yourself breathe. Don't forget to breathe. As you walk your path, can you give yourself a moment to pause? Can you give yourself permission to simply be in this moment? You're not alone. Your guides are here to support you. And things will become clearer when they're really meant to, when you're ready for that level of clarity. Clarity will arise. Clarity is not a marker of success. You're not more successful when there's clarity, and you're not less successful when there's not clarity. The truth is, you are human. You are part of this ever evolving, ever unfolding universe. So you don't have to be afraid that in this moment, certain relationships might look like they're dying. That's okay. Let it die. Whatever it is in your life that you hold dear, that looks like it's dying, help it die. Help it release and transform into its next form. There's the next version of the thing that you hold dear that is being held by this current version of you. But this current version is not here for much longer. Something else is arriving, something else is coming through, and your job is to get out of the way. How do you get out of the way? You get out of the way by fully engaging. This is the paradox. The paradox is getting out of the way is not about avoiding. Getting out of the way is not about deleting yourself. Getting out of the way is about deeply engaging without being run by your expectations. So notice when those expectations arise for you and say, "Oh, I see you. Thanks for being here. Now let me set you aside for a second here." It's okay. You don't have to drive the car, expectations. I've got this. So that's what I'll end with. You've got this. There are angelic, benevolent forces that are assisting you forward. You may not feel like you're moving forward, but you are. And this creator part of you, this part of you that's craving to express yourself in some tangible way, is here to help you bridge the comic and the rebel. The comic is here to remind you that life is a joke. Life is an infinitely serious undertaking, and that's why it's a joke. And the rebel is here because she knows that something's not quite right. But just because something's not quite right doesn't mean that you have to face it head on, at least not in the way that your minds might think. Let me see if there's any other messages coming through at the end here. Reach out to someone. Reach out to a friend, a trusted space holder, a trusted practitioner, a teacher, a guide. If you are feeling very uncomfortable, you don't have to do this alone. You are actually clearing the illusion in this moment that you have to do anything alone. You really don't. You're so blessed. You are so supported, and you're actually never alone. But that doesn't mean that you can't be lonely. Loneliness is part of being human. It's part of being in a body. You're yearning for companionship. You're yearning for someone who can listen to you and be present and not immediately jump into their own stuff. And even as I'm saying these words, you know who that person is. That person is showing up in your mind. So reach out to that person and be in that exchange of mutual love and friendship and kinship. There's so much support for you here. Give yourself permission to trust that and to not force anything to be what it's not in this moment. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope this was helpful. And I wish you a beautiful, beautiful week. And yes, for anyone who would like to join Creative Exorcism, I would love to see you in Creative Exorcism. I would love to be a part of guiding you through your process of creative reclamation. And for those of you who would like to work with me one-on-one, you can check out my offerings. Specifically, if you enjoy this particular episode, you might enjoy my cards reading, where I pull some tarot cards and oracle cards, and then I proceed to receive insights and channel information for you from your own spirit. All right. Thank you, everyone. And I hope this is helpful for you. I hope this is assisting you in some ways to be more in line with your path. So much love. Take care.